Hello, welcome back to the MLB DFS Slate Breakdown. We are back, and we're going to do a little money gun for LJ, who, money gun doesn't want to work, who just happened to have a little takedown yesterday. There we go. And before we get into it, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment to all our videos. It helps us a ton, helps us feed the algo to just give you more content. And if you are not already, make sure you become a LineStar sub. It is only $29.99 a month, and you too can get takedowns like LJ. Now we are back on the slate today. We got a 12 gamer. It's a big boy. Not really too many weather concerns, which is great. We do have some good hitting weather, some good weather, so I like it. The slate looks like a fun one once again. Now, pitching ownership. We got Christian Javier, 39% owned, or just under 39% owned. He is a little too cheap with his upside. His K stuff has finally showed up, and he is in a good spot here. 2.95 FIP over his last 20, 3.05 over the last 5, to go along with a 35% K rate over the last 5, and that's a 32% over the last 20. His combined K rate, almost 30% today. Cubs striking out 25.2% versus righties. So he's in a really good spot. Totally understand why he's so expensive. And then we got Jordan Montgomery, also in a decent spot and probably a little bit too cheap, with Milwaukee striking out at 28% versus lefties. Montgomery doesn't have a ton of K upside, but Milwaukee's helping us out with that. 22% K rate over his last 20 starts, 23% combined K rate. Now, for a price or a pitcher at his price, it totally makes sense why ownership's going there. Kershaw, he looks great. He's in a great spot. He has showed some solid upside lately versus the Twins, who are striking out 25%. They do have some power versus lefties with a 171 ISO, but I do like the spot for Kershaw. 28% combined K rate, so he's up there with Javier, but much more expensive than Javier. Thus why Javier is coming in at higher owned. And we got Verlander going against the Rays. Very tough matchup, but it is Verlander. He is one of the best pitchers in the game. 27% combined K rate. His FIP, 2.2 over his last 20 starts. He is amazing. He is really good. His K rate's 30%. I think Verlander's fine. You just don't love him facing the Rays, which a lineup that almost everybody in that lineup can really hit. Wheeler's a little underpriced. Lugo's probably a little underpriced. Always love Kevin Gausman, especially in a spot where he's going against the Yankees. He struck them out 11 times last time he faced them. Gausman has been having an unreal year, 1.97 FIP over his last 5 with a 36% K rate. I am absolutely fine going to Gausman versus the Yankees. 27% combined K rate at low ownership. Sign me up. I'm down for that. Don't love anything really from the low side. Schuster has been pretty bad in the major leagues, but he had a really good spring. I guess you could say he's kind of interesting with how cheap he is. I don't love it, though. So, you always got to bring up Castillo when he's going pretty virtually unowned. It is really good hitting weather in Boston, though. Mid-70s, high 70s with wind blowing out to right center. So the game total is a 10. So just take that into consideration. But Castillo probably does get the win here. So that is a little bonus in his side. And he's been really good this year. 2.74 FIP over his last 20, 29%, or over the last 5, 29% K rate. So you got to like that. Castillo going pretty much low or unowned is interesting. Now let's flip to the old FanDuel. And Javier, Montgomery, Wheeler, Kershaw, all are interesting. Verlander and Gosman. Gosman would probably be my low-owned flyer I would be taking there. If you want to go cheap, 7.5K for Lynn is probably a little too cheap. It isn't a tough matchup, though. But we do know he has some decent upside, and he's done decently versus Cleveland before. So don't mind that. Now, let's get into good old stack attacks. Look, we do have a Coors game, so that is probably going to be the highest owned on the slate today. Oh, no, Seattle. Seattle coming in at the highest owned against good old Nick Poverty. Next is the Reds versus Chase Anderson, who Anderson has not been very good. Poverty hasn't been very good. I think you can't go wrong with either of these. Also, with 12 games, they're not too high owned, so you can absolutely play them if you want. Just, play whatever one you want. There's a ton of different options with Seattle in this game environment. Also with Reds, especially if Reds are going a little under-owned. And our highest projected is the Yankees. Very surprising to me since they are versus Cosman, who has been absolutely unreal this season. 1.97 FIP over his last 5, 2.65 over the last 20. But Yankees have just been hitting the ball pretty well lately, so that's why they're popping. Next, Texas is popping up a little bit with Schuster. Schuster was not good in his 2 appearances earlier this year. 5.26 FIP, getting hit pretty hard. And so you could totally go that route. I like both of those plays. Obviously, I like the Reds. I think the Reds are in a really good spot, once again, in Colorado. And now let's check some value outs. We got Oakland popping up. I like this one, actually. Oakland is a sneaky little offense. Henry hasn't been good. 5.62 FIP, 1.94 fantasy points per plate attempt. Henry's letting a lot of guys on base. Oakland has a lot of guys that can steal. They also have some power. There's a lot of ways you can go with that Oakland team. So I do like that one. And as far as a ceiling play today, we have Tampa Bay versus Verlander. So I also don't mind picking on the Yankees and going Toronto with Herman there. And if we show last 20 FIPS, what do we got? We got Chase Anderson, so all over the Reds there. And if we go over the last 5, then we're all over Arizona. Arizona, once again, in a good spot. Mueller has been a little bit better recently, but that bullpen is terrible. He's not going to go that deep into the games. This Diamondbacks team just keeps hitting. So I think you got to like them. My favorite stacks today, Colorado, Cincinnati, Mariners. I think the Braves are interesting. Texas is interesting. I like Arizona. The Mets have some really good weather, hitting weather here, which also, when we talk about the Tampa Bay stacks, it's the same for them, even though it is against Verlander. And the Cardinals are starting to hit a little bit. They put up 18 runs yesterday. They got Wade Miley, who Wade Miley can get blown up. So I think they're interesting as well. And I think that will do it for us today. I appreciate you guys. Congrats to LJ for getting a little takedown. We'll be back tomorrow with another slate. You guys have a great night. Appreciate it.